my brake pedal, guys. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is officially the final race of 2022, and we are ending it right here in Red Bluff, California at the Red Bluff Outlaws. Welcome back. Excited to have you guys hanging out with us for the afternoon. And I'd be lying if I didn't say how good I felt going into tonight, considering we were parked in victory lane last Saturday. Anytime you got some momentum on your side heading out on track, it definitely feels good. Never really mentioned it in my video, but dude, these fans, they always get me when I'm trying to do some footage out here. But just walking down on the Red Bluff surface, it actually is pretty wet today, but not wet to where it's like greasy. It's actually just really, really fast. So I think it's gonna start out, hooked up like it is, but I would not be surprised if it really burns off. And with our weather, it's actually hotter and warmer today. There's no rain, no weather. So we might actually see a pretty slick surface today, which I would be pumped about. Our car gets around this racetrack really well, whether it's hooked up or slick. But anyway, we're gonna jump right into today's video. Final race of 2022, and we're gonna get it started with qualifying. Well, our consistency in qualifying is continuing. Ended up 4th quick out of 37 opens tonight at the Red Bluff Outlaws, and that's gonna roll us right into heat race action. It's crazy how less stressful your night is when you qualify good, because you're just starting off on the right foot. When it feels like you're down and then you're kind of chasing the speed you're looking for and getting more comfortable and getting your car to go around the track, like, it can really turn into a mess. But when you're top 5 in qualifying, you're consistent, and now we're gonna have to start, second row in a heat race and move forward. It helps build your night, towards hopefully being parked on the front stretch at the end of it. So car felt good, got a ton of power, and like I said, now we are gonna have to move forward in our heat race, starting 4th with only the top 2 transferring. But that's Red Bluff. It can be chaos, but you just gotta try to keep your head on a swivel, stay calm, and make things happen. My Factory QRC crew's behind me. They're getting the cars ready to turn back around, and like I said, if we can get through this, we will be set up for the rest of the show. Things are going good for the 18T. Was able to go 4th to 2nd there in the heat race. Kind of got out of my car and was complaining that I didn't win it. I thought I was gonna have an opportunity to. Ran side by side with Steven Gannon, who's a legend in outlaw car racing, and he was sticking down low. I was sticking up top, and it just seemed like with where the track's at, I said it earlier, it's getting slick faster than it has the last couple of races, and it's just starting to dust off. And with so many guys running the bottom, they're making the top dirty. So even though I made speed up there, the more laps we did, I felt like I started losing a little bit more and a little bit more, and I should have been more aggressive with my wing, which would have helped get me some more rear drive, but ultimately I think the bottom just is getting a little bit faster as guys are cleaning it off, and the top's just getting dirtier and starting to slow down. But we did what we had to do. We are now going to be in the redraw, and that transfers us directly into the A-main event. So I shouldn't even talk about how bad I really wanted to win that heat race, but you know, I just had a shot and didn't make it happen. So second, that transfers up. We'll have the redraw up next, which will be later in the night, and that will determine where we're going to start for the dash and set the first 3 rows of tonight's 30-lap feature.
Next up will be TNT Tanner Holmes. Tanner Holmes will have him draw here. The number 1 is still out there, but also the number 5 is out there. Both engines, this kid is really making hard. Making hard here. It is, last minute change. Last minute change. Triple, and it's the number 1. Wow. That was interesting.
We just got done with the trophy dash here. I ended up drawing the 1 thanks to my buddy Braxton Foster. He really had to decide, but he finally picked the right frisbee for me, got me the 1, and we ended up running second in the dash. Now they did a massive rework right before the dash, and as you can see, it's pretty much hero dirt around the outside. And they ended up leaving the bottom alone there. So for the 6 laps, it was basically a dyno session around the outside. I'm not a huge fan of racing on super hooked up, but at least if the whole track's hooked up, you can kind of work both lanes, but it's really hard to maneuver because down low, you can't even keep up at all. Where around the high side, in those 6 laps, the car that beat me was an 8.6, was the fastest lap they ran, which is basically quick time in qualifying almost. That's identical to where we were in qualifying, and I was an 8.7, so I was only about a 10th off. But the racing surface is just, it's kind of wacky. Haven't really seen something like this where they're so uneven, but maybe by the time the Open A rolls around, it will kind of burn in, slow down, and we'll be able to race. But we're in a great position starting on the front row outside. Well, we're all ready to roll for 30 laps around the Red Bluff Outlaw racing surface, hoping to make, you know, our final run here of 2022 what it is and end on a high note. Feel great about the position we're rolling out in. Front row outside, you know, in the history of this place, and if you just watch any race, it's a great spot. Usually you can get a good run on the initial start, and if you can beat the inside car into 1 and 2, you're kind of able to just set sail. So I think if we can get out front here and run our pace, we're going to be a tough car to beat. The main concern is going to be restarts and trying to nail those and keep other guys that, you know, maybe play defense for a corner and then try to put a gap between us and the rest of the field. Anyway, we're heading out. If I had to guess, I think we're all going to be fighting for the higher part of the racetrack and the top, just because with that rework, it's got some grip and it's got some speed, and the bottom's a little bit slicker and harder. But if we can get out front, like I said, I don't think we're going to have any problems.
All right, love you, son. Have fun.
From Corning, California. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, win number 15 in the Packwoods Superior Wood Products Open class. Tanner Holmes gets it done here for the third of the year. There he is. Tanner Holmes, your winner here tonight. Safety equipment off, Tanner Holmes. Another check heading your way here tonight, but man, you had to work for that one. I know you were thinking a lot. When a guy like Colby Copeland lines up next to you on those restarts, you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, you know, that was probably the hardest race I've ever had to win because, like, probably lap 12, I was under that green flag run, and all of a sudden I hit the brakes and they went to the floor. So I had no brakes the whole race, or, you know, the whole second half of the race. So when Colby slid me and those guys, like, as they were putting pressure on me, it was tough because I had to, like, totally just change what I was doing with the gas pedal to try and keep racing. And then at the same time, like, the brakes, I think, were starting, I don't know, it's weird. Like, my engine was trying to stall with how I was on and off the gas, and just was able to hold on out front. So actually ended up being a pretty solid surface. It was probably a little top dominant, but definitely slowed down a lot more than I thought.
Check out my brake pedal, guys. Not ideal. You zoom in. Had absolutely zero brakes, probably a little bit before the halfway break, and it made our job very difficult tonight. Basically, the bolt that holds the mount for the pedals on the left side came out. So technically the brakes didn't, well, they stopped working, but if that bolt wouldn't have came out, it would have been okay. It wasn't like the pedal just fell to the floor. It fell to the floor because the bolt came out of the mount, which holds it, so it was kind of just flopping around. I was really worried that that would be the end of my race or the end of a shot at winning, but somehow, some way, we were able to still nail our restarts, get out front, and do our job. And luckily, since I didn't have a crazy amount of pressure, I could kind of just regulate how fast and slow I was going with the gas. But I had to completely change it up. Definitely one of the weirdest races I've won, just because I basically could never stop or slow down the second half. Well, I figured we'd end the video checking out the racetrack here. I'll kind of eat my words. I said it was a dyno session in the dash, which it was, and I thought it was going to stay faster, but it slowed down about a half a second. I ended up having the fastest lap in the A main event, being in clean air, and I was a 9.0, and a lot of the guys behind me were 9.1, 9.2, 9.3, which is pretty slow for this place. It's not uncommon for the fastest car, the fastest group of cars to be in the 8-second bracket in the 30-lap feature. And I think it put on a fairly good show. The top was still good, but guys were kind of working down low. It ended up being a restart game for me. You know, we didn't have a crazy amount of them, but I just had to do my job and, you know, protect sometimes leave the door open and take that risk. And then once the whole brake deal happened, I knew I was gonna have to block, because the one time Colby slid me on the restart, I didn't have brakes. I made it work, but it's so tough because there's no way of slowing down. You're hoping that they clear you enough to where I could turn down, and I could, but if I get short slid, I'm basically gonna crash into him and maybe wreck or maybe not keep going. You're not sure what's gonna happen. It's just, so I decided I'd rather not put myself in that position and try to block with the scenario I had. But dang, man, it feels so good to end in victory lane for 2022 and get our third win of the season in back-to-back weekends. I just can't say enough about Jimmy Elledge and his program, his race cars, his engines, Factory QRC, and the product that they have. It's so impressive. The fact that I get to drive is literally a dream for this Outlaw Kart stuff. It's, you know, I grew up doing this, and, you know, the spot I'm in is insane. So my 15th career open win inside this building tonight, and my 47th all-time. Just so thankful that those guys back me and give me a chance to, I guess you could say, definitely live my dream. You know, part of living my dream is this, and this is where I started. I'm glad that I get to still experience it every single winter. So see you guys all in the next one, and I would say that was a hell of a way to end 2022. Deuces.